Hello, cartoon fanatics, and welcome back to another Cartoon Corner on Star vs. the Forces of Evil. We've done it. We've survived another hiatus, and now we have new episodes to talk about. So, the first two episodes of... I think we're still on the third season, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, so this is like the second half of the third season. We're gonna cover what got out today, what we already know, and potentially something very terrifying to look forward to in the future. And without any more distractions, we're going to dive right into it. So, let's do a little recap of last time, excluding the holiday episodes, because that's pretty much what they were. They were just holiday episodes. Our last big plot point in the show was we discovered that Miss Heinous, who used to be the principal of the Olga School of Wayward Princesses, which used to reform princesses to be all prim and proper, we discovered that she was in fact the daughter of Eclipse, this big evil queen that got crystallized for hundreds of years, I think about 300 years. And with all of that, now Star's questioning who's her family, who isn't, what does this mean, is she next in line, or is it technically Miss Heinous, aka Meteorta? What's going on? And we kind of get a bit of that, and we kind of don't. So let's start with the don't, which is the first part. In the midst of all of this, Star and her dad, King River, they go out and have kind of a night hunt to search for, I can't remember what it's called. It was like called a bogbird or something. It was some strange bog pun related thing. And they go through like all these strategies, so to speak. River's like, oh, it's very detailed. You have to go through all of these things. You have to do each individual step. This is a part of the hunt. You have to do all of this. And at first, Star's into it, and then the longer it takes to actually hunt this thing, the more she's like, ugh, come on, let's just find it and take it down already. Why do we keep delaying the inevitable? So eventually she cracks, as we expect, and she decides to just go after the thing by herself. And we discovered, I don't think we've seen this before, but she can turn her wand into a bow, which I thought was really cool. That was a really neat design to kind of see her hunting clothes design and to transform her wand into a bow that would better suit the hunting purposes. And it's very cool. One thing I'll say, and maybe this is because the creator of the show, Darren Nefsey, her major when she was at CalArts was in character design. But the styles of clothing in this show and the designs of the weapons are always fantastic to see. They're always super detailed, and the great thing is they change them up. You don't just have one character wearing the same outfit, and if they do, there's like an explanation. Like for Marco, he just likes his red hoodie, so he bought 100 of them, no big deal. But with all the other characters, it's become there's this change in clothing, which is really nice to see. It makes you more involved in the world and feel like that it's an actual place where people do need to change clothes from time to time. And it's always cool to see a new special feature with Star's wand. Now that I think the design of the wand is officially what we're going for now, I don't think the wand will change anytime soon again. That whole arc kind of opened and shut itself. So it's fun to see that now Star's using the wand to turn it into other things as well to suit different situations. Like here, she turns it into the bow. I wonder if we'll be seeing other versions of that in the future where the wand shifts into other things depending on what she's fighting or what she's doing. Because that would be really cool to see more versions of that wand doing all of that stuff. Then, at the end, there wasn't actually any beast that she was hunting down. She gets stuck in the mud, and it all turns out that it's kind of like this coming-of-age ritual thing that River and his buddies do in showing, oh, well, you're the monster, you're the bog thing, whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Because it was just a lesson to Star that River wanted to teach her, which was a very good one. And that she's very headstrong. She does run into things without thinking sometimes. And while River does really like that about his daughter, it was kind of a reminder of, hey, maybe every now and then it's okay to step back and actually think about things and not just charge head first. So I think that was a very good message for Star, and it was even I think it even struck her more that it came from River and not Queen Moon or Marco or someone. You know, someone who's usually more practical saying, hey, Star, maybe you should step back and think about this more practically. But because it came from River, who was also very headstrong and goes forward without thinking most of the time, the message hit a lot closer to home for her there, I think. So that was kind of a nice, sweet little episode thing there. Very nice, good to see that. But now let's talk about the thing that I really want to get into, and that, I think, was the episode titled Girls' Night. Basically, you have Queen Moon and Eclipse actually working together to try and find out information. Since Star went to Queen Moon talking about, oh, I discovered that Eclipse has a daughter, and her name's Meteora, and Miss Heinous, basically the Monster Bash bomb dropped. Now Moon's actually trying to find out, okay, well, how much of this is true? Is this just Star going off, or is there actually some fact behind it? So she goes to Eclipse to try and find out some information, and Eclipse does confirm that she had a daughter named Meteora, but when they look through the family history, she's not listed there. So Eclipse says, oh, well, we can find that down in the archives because they catalog everything, and this is an area that Moon knows absolutely nothing about. So the two kind of have to work together, and Moon has to trust Eclipse on this whole journey to get to the archives because Moon has never been to the archives before. All we know is that it seems pretty deep in the castle and pretty deep within the High Commission as well, because when they get in and get out, they accidentally trigger an alarm, and we see the High Commission race down one of the halls as they're going in the opposite direction, narrowly avoiding them. So whatever this archive room is, it's something that Moon and maybe even past queens haven't really seen. Eclipse somehow stumbled across it, which, I mean, it's Eclipse, so I'm not surprised that she knew something about this. And basically all it is they enter this room, they work together, and Moon kind of is learning to somewhat trust Eclipse a little bit. At least that's what it seems like. She definitely feels Eclipse's pain when Eclipse talks about her daughter of, oh, I haven't seen my daughter in 300 years. I don't even know if she's alive. I don't know why she's not in the records. And they kind of bond over a motherly instinct thing, which Moon did with Buff Frog back in Battle for Muni, about protecting the children. Whenever it's related to someone's children and wanting to protect them and do what's best for them, Moon always seems to have a soft side for that, because she always feels that with Star. So it almost seems like, at least in that respect, she's learning to trust Eclipse just the tiniest bit, but not entirely. But she understands what Eclipse is going through here, which was really interesting to see. So they both make it to the archive room, and they're looking through these mass amounts of information. Eclipse quickly finds the stuff with her on it because, as she said, she's been there before. She probably used to like to sneak down there and look through them and go, oh, look, there's me, there's all the stuff I did. But now looking through it, they discover that Eclipse's daughter has been completely written out of history. There's literally a new name stitched into the parchment in the archives. So the archives wrote down what actually happened, and then later, or shortly after, I assume, because there's just so much information, it would get lost if they just let it sit for a while. Someone went down and remodified the history with this Festiva, which a lot of fans, well, not a lot, but some people were speculating that Festiva might be one of Eclipse's daughters. Like Eclipse had a daughter with Mumin King, and then she had a Meteora with the monster love. But nothing that complicated. We have no clue who Festiva is. All we know is that she took over Eclipse's place when Eclipse was crystallized. But she isn't Eclipse's daughter, which means the whole hierarchy of the Mother Queen passing the queenship down to the daughter is completely severed here. Which leads to the other question, who exactly is Festiva, and where did she come from? Because, as far as we know, Star and Moon and all of the other queens past Queen Eclipse are all descended from this Festiva woman. And the fact that Festiva herself doesn't seem to be connected to Eclipse. Eclipse has no idea who this person is. It almost makes you wonder, or at least it's something I started wondering after I watched this episode. Is there a possibility that every butterfly after Eclipse isn't actually a butterfly? Hear me out on this. Like we already covered, Meteora is definitely a butterfly. She's descended from Eclipse, and Eclipse is a butterfly. But we don't really know Festiva's background. All we know is that she isn't related to Eclipse, who is, with the exception of Meteora, technically the last member of the butterfly family as far as we know directly. With that in mind, was Festiva created to kind of mask up this Eclipse conspiracy? Did the Magic High Commission somehow create this new queen to take over in Eclipse's place because Eclipse was just too evil and too powerful? And if that's the case, is it possible Queen Moon and Star, they might not even be direct butterflies at all. They might not be true butterflies. The only last true butterfly might be Eclipse and Meteora, because this whole conspiracy happened. What if they're just like this invasive species of butterfly, like they were created to look exactly like the butterfly royal family? They have all the same traditions and customs, but they aren't technically actual butterflies because of this whole Queen Eclipse conspiracy, and they use Festiva to cover it up. If Festiva was never actually a true butterfly, then that means everyone descended from her also isn't actually a true butterfly. And that is kind of terrifying to think about in terms of the show's lore, because that basically means that all of the characters we do know from the royal family for hundreds of years have technically not been the true rulers of Muni. And if this is brought to light in the way that I'm thinking that it's going, whereas when hopefully we'll discover more once we learn more about Festiva, but if this is the case, then what's that to say for Muni's royalty? Would Queen Moon and Star no longer be rulers anymore? Would they be kicked out and Eclipse would be back in her rightful place of ruling Muni? And what exactly would that mean? Would that be for better or for worse? Because whatever Eclipse did, at the moment, we know that there's a bit of prejudice behind the actions, which influences part of the aggression towards Eclipse. But we still haven't really seen Eclipse do anything that bad yet. She seemed like a pretty, not minute, but, you know, she's just kind of chill with everything. She doesn't really seem like she's got anything sinister going down, or at least we haven't seen any signs that she really has anything sinister going down, which begs, what would happen if she were put back in power? And what did she do that was so bad that this whole hundreds of years cover-up was created with a potential fake butterfly? Yeah, so have fun dwelling on that information tonight. And that's all I have so far. We'll just have to wait for more episodes to really see what will unfurl. Hopefully this means we'll start getting some more information on Eclipse and Meteora and now Festiva. Who knew that she was going to be a big part in all of this? Well, surprise, here we go. Enjoy hearing that name and looking at even more fan art for all of that. And with that's all I got. It's going to be a crazy ride from here on out. So if you liked this video, go ahead and put a thumbs up and press that like button. And don't forget to comment and subscribe as well. And I will see you guys when we have more episodes to talk about, more craziness. I officially have no idea what's going on in this show anymore, but it's pretty fun.